This will be a short video discussing capitalism and its relationship to our government. We should understand that capitalism, as we're aware of it, is an economic system. It is not the government. It is how we buy and sell. It is a system that we have used since the beginning of our nation, and probably will continue, although anymore there have been a lot of people who have a lot of criticism of capitalism. First thing that you should remember is that capitalism is also known as a free enterprise system. They're just two different names for the same thing. And of course, again, they're an economic system. The free enterprise system, or capitalism, is characterized by 5 things. Private ownership, meaning the people who own the businesses are not the government, but rather individuals who are members of society. They can own small businesses, everything up to huge corporations, and that can be a single individual or maybe even a group of individuals. But it's private ownership. Nothing. The government has no involvement in this. The second thing are investments made by private decision, not by government directive. In other words, people are investing in these businesses as they choose. There's 2 ways they can invest. They can invest either through their own money into the business directly, or they might invest in the stock market if the business is traded on the stock market. So all of those things, again, are a private decision. Our government is not permitted to tell us what we can invest in and what we can't invest in. The third thing, success or failure is determined by competition in the marketplace. This is true. The competition that exists between different companies will determine success or failure. For example, iPad came out with the original iPad came out, and many other companies have since worked very hard to compete with iPad. And some have been very successful, some have not been successful, all that successful. Even with the iPad success, Android has come into as a working system that rivals the things that are used on iPad. So this is competition, and competition, if you are really good at what you do, hopefully you will succeed. But again, there's no guarantees. All right, number 4, individual initiative. A lot of times success or failure is also dependent on your own initiative, or that individual's drive to accomplish whatever they want to do. Again, this is not directed by government. It is directed by the individual and the time he or she want to put into whatever business they want to create. Finally, profit. Of course, that is the biggie. Everybody wants to see money into their pocket. And of course, profit comes from those things that are, well, that money that's over and above what it costs to produce whatever it is that they want to produce. So profit is what goes into your pocket, or what can be invested either in your own company or even in another company. So profit plays a big role in capitalism. All right, then, capitalism, as I've begun to say, does not rely on government. It does not rely on government to decide what items are to be produced. A company decides that on its own. The government won't tell you that, and cannot tell you that. How much to be produced, how many things are to be produced. Government doesn't make those decisions. The people do, who own these companies. And finally, how much of any item is to sell for. That, again, the government doesn't decide. It is done through the people. And that then goes straight to this next question: who then makes these decisions? Well, of course, it's the consumers. The consumers will tell the entrepreneurs who own the business, by their purchasing the goods, whether it is worth continuing to be produced, or what the price would be. Now, that leads us then right into what is the unwritten law of supply and demand. And this, of course, is the idea that when supplies of goods and services become plentiful, prices will tend to drop. And when, on the other hand, prices or supplies become scarce, prices will likely rise. It all has to do with the amount of goods and services available, as well as people's willingness to purchase. Okay, so that wraps up very briefly the idea of capitalism and its relationship with our government. Okay,